This episode is about like the state of the ACC, but you know what? We're going to talk about it on 94 feet of UNC.
Gordy to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackout, streaking it on Parks. Rebound stock is good, and he gets fouled by Parks. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackout.
I think that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down 8. In fairness,
the glass no good. Rebound followed by Hansgrove. Good! Carolina.
inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice about this over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Captain, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? It is your guy, Linzel Graham. You are tuned in to the 94 feet of UNC podcast. Of course, I am the host, of course, Linzel Graham, which it kind of goes the other way. I said it wrong the first time. But listen, appreciate everybody for joining in, tapping in with me or whatever. I got a big special guest, of course, in the building with me today. It's my guy, the brother, my brother. And he's all of the above. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So, but we're going to get into to discussing some things with him today or whatever. But before we do, I appreciate all the love and support from everybody. Make sure that you follow me on my socials at 94 feet of UNC on Instagram and on Twitter or whatever. Got a new Discord that I just set up or whatever. So, of course, the link is going to be in the description. So make sure you tap in. It's free to join. Come on in and like chop it up with everybody. We discuss all things, all sports, especially UNC. So, you know, you don't want to miss out on that. So come join the family community or whatever. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share to my YouTube channel. And, you know, whatever, make sure you tap in because you don't want to miss out on any episodes, of course, because like I said, you never know who's going to stop in here at the Zell Dome. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, my guest today is Mr. Brandon Childress himself. B, what's good, bro? You muted. I think you muted, bro.
My bad. What's going on, brother? I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Listen, B, before we get started, listen, I tell everybody, come on in, kick your shoes off if you need to, relax a little bit. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. You know what I'm saying? And we just don't, you know, we lovers of the sport. So, of course, we're gonna discuss some things or whatever. But I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you for taking out the time or whatever. Like being on the time schedule that you're on right now. So, you know, that it means a lot. And I'm truly grateful and appreciative, bro. But what's going on with you, though, man?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain at all, man. I'm currently overseas in Lithuania right now. I'm on a 3-game winning streak, 4th in our league right now. Pop's good, family good, man. I had no complaints on mine. I'm blessed, man. How's everything with you? How's your mental? Family, everybody good?
Everybody's good, man. Family's good. Wife is good. You know what I'm saying? No kids, but, you know, my dog, and I look at him as a son. So he good. He living the best life. Like, he living a better life than we are. Like, you know how it is with the pets and everything, man. But everything's good, man. Can't complain or whatever. You know, it is what it is. So we take it one day at a time. You feel me? So, yeah. So for those that don't know, I'm sure that you all recognize that last name of Brandon's or whatever. It's Childress. As you all know, there's another Childress that I'm sure everybody, especially in the UNC family, knows about. But I'll let Brandon discuss all of that or whatever and let him get into a little bit of family background and history and things like that or whatever. So I guess my first question, Brandon, is just what's it like to be, I guess, the father of a legend, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, how did we get to the Wake Forest, to overseas and things like that? How did we get there?
Um, it all started when I was in middle school. I was living in Maryland, my whole life, and then growing up, I moved to North Carolina when I was 14. Yeah, when
Okay.
I was 14, and when I moved to North Carolina, that's when my father stopped playing. That's when he retired, and when he retired, like I went to Wake Forest campus when I was like really young, when Skip Prosser was there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then the year after he died, I remember going to like the camps and stuff. And my father went back, and when LD Williams and Jeff Teague and those guys, were in school at the time. And I think they were number one in the nation that year. I went back in those camps. Um, I saw it, like I remember seeing, Childress on the wall, his jersey and all that, and I'm like, oh, you must have done something, you was all right, whatever. And I was young. I didn't even like basketball. I was a football guy. And obviously
Okay.
my friends played. My friends started hooping, kept hooping, got better along the way. Was working out with my pops when he would come home from overseas. Just kept getting better, just kept working. And I moved to North Carolina. Like that's when I realized the hoop state. Like
Right.
everybody cold, like especially my class. I had Dennis Smith, Bam Adebayo, Harry Giles, Grant Williams, um, and even some guys, that came, after me, even before me, like Brandon Ingram,
Mm-hmm.
Jerome Robinson, Kobe White. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm drawing a blank. What's my man from Durham? Not TJ Warren, even though TJ Warren, he in the league. Shout out to Trez, he in the league. Trey
Who's
Murphy, I
from
think
there?
Yeah, Trey Murphy, Trey Murphy. So like,
Okay.
like a
Yep.
lot of guys, a lot of my peers was really talented. So growing up, playing AAU with the Carolina Diamonds on the circuit and everything, and a lot of a lot of my peers that I was playing against and with were going to ACC schools.
Mm-hmm.
And my pops was like, "Yo, you just as good as these dudes. You just need the opportunity, and you need to keep working. Don't worry about anything else." So I kept
Right.
working, kept working. We played Altuve Gilbert, who was the number one point guard in our class at the time before Dennis got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had the best of him. He was playing with CP3 at the time. Got the best of him, that particular day. Then after that,
Right.
my recruitment, like what I'm saying, takes off. And like I said, I knew my pops went to weight. I knew obviously the name gonna hold his weight because of him. And I didn't realize what I was signing myself up for. Um, and remind you, my father tell you, my father didn't lay a finger in any of my recruitment at all. Like, and it
Okay.
was and it was frustrating for me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of coaches like didn't want to recruit me. Some coaches did. Uh, some coaches were on the fence. And I played on the national schedule in high school. We were the number 2 team, nationally ranked when I was at Western Christian Academy. Um,
Right.
so was the opportunity to play in front of those coaches. And I made all tournament in the Bass Pro. Uh, at the time before it was now it's the John Wall tournament. At the time it was the high school OT. I was all tournament there with I think it was 3 or 4 NBA guys in that tournament in the Bass Pro in the all tournament team. Everybody on that team, made the league except for maybe two guys. So I
Yeah.
proved that I could play on that level amongst other guys. You know what I'm saying? Now I just needed to just do it on the platform. And I just
Right.
remember one day my father was like, "Yo, like you're not the most athletic, right? You're skilled, but you need to understand that we can find any guard at your height. So whatever opportunity comes your way for college, you need to figure this out." And he always told me, "You going to college?" And no ifs, ands, but I don't care if you go to Winston State. I don't care if you go to UNCG. I don't care if you go wherever you going to college. But
Right.
if you want to take this next step, the opportunity that comes your way as far as a scholarship, you need to take advantage of it. Danny Manning was there, and Danny Manning, he saw a little bit of toughness for me. A lot of the great guards that he coached, Ron Collins, Mario Chalmers, just all the great guards that he had, and he saw me play against, like I said, a lot of my peers amongst the nation, just in North Carolina and everywhere else. And he was like, "Oh, Brandon's just good." So he took it So once I got the offer, I didn't waste any time. Like I wanted to play in the ACC to prove to
Yeah.
everybody that I belong and to prove to myself. Um, and I didn't realize what I was signing myself up for until my very first game. We played Radford. I never forget it. We're playing Radford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first one out the tunnel in warm-ups. I've never seen my father nervous, right?
Okay.
Ever. So he's literally sweating like through his suit. I see it. Nobody else. I see it. He's literally sweating like through his suit. So, so we used to, you know, the Gatorade towels that everybody has like on the bench. Like every other minute, my father got the shiniest head. You know what I'm saying? Pose like,
Yep.
and it's like he got the bald head. Yo,
Yeah.
he wiping his head every time, every 5 minutes. Remember, Danny, look at me and do this. I check into the game. I just hear the crowd roaring, and
Yeah.
Radford misses his shot. I get the ball, I dribble down court. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just shoot the first one. It's a nervous shot. I'm gonna just shoot the first thing I see. Yo, bro, why did I pull a transition three? I made it.
Wow.
Whole gym goes crazy. We end up beating Radford after the game. Like me and my dad went to dinner, and he was just like, "Yo, like, how you feel out there?" I was like, "Yo, I feel good." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still a freshman, still young,
Yeah.
and this is like my welcome to the ACC moment. Well, my welcome to college moment when we played Villanova. This is the year after they won it. We played them
Yeah.
earlier that year. They had a squad. It was actually against Carolina at home. The year y'all won it.
Yep. 2017.
Oh my goodness. So I check into the game. I get plucked by Joe Berry. Yo, my father cussing me out halftime. Like he just wrote 0 on the board. Soft ass motherfucker. You like, bro, one thing about me, bro, I ain't never been soft like ever in my life. But you know what? All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yo, second half roll around. I know, you know how as a player, you know what like when you about to sub in into the game.
Yeah.
I already know I already know what time I'm subbing in. I'm a subbing after the first media timeout every time. I ain't even let Danny even tell me to get into the game. But I get in the game, I get in for Bryant. And I think I hit my first three. Then I hit a pull-up. Then I hit an and one. I'm hitting free throws. Next thing you know, like I brought us back. I brought the lead back for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I cut it down.
Yeah.
Carolina ended up winning the game, but like it kind of gave like a couple people flashes of like how my father played, and it was like, all right, like now we need to see this, you know, more consistently. So it was a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
like, you know, playing, you know, with my like alongside, you know, my dad being on the bench. I had to deal with like the jealousy aspect. I had to deal with. There were practices where coach would tell me like before practice, like, yo, like it's gonna be times I may just throw you out of practice or just send you to the line just so like there's no favoritism. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, like every shot mattered in practice. Like I had to be at practice first. I had to be the last
Mm-hmm.
one to leave. So if anything or any reward that was given out, like they saw I put the work in. Now it was natural for me to work because of my work ethic for my father, but I had to I had to have the highest GPA on the team. I had to do all that, bro. So for me,
Yeah.
it was tough. It was tough. It was not easy. It was not easy playing for my pops, bro, at all. But
Yeah.
it allowed me to be like where I am today, and I wouldn't change anything.
That's what's up, man. Like, listen, so much right there that you said a mouthful for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got it because I forgot to tell everybody or whatever and started off or whatever how we connected. There's two different ways. Well, one I ended up because we know some mutual guys, you know,
Yeah,
OG and Fabian and
yeah,
Flea from Knicks Rehab, All Ball TV. Big shout out to
hmm
them guys, man. They
yeah,
do an incredible job. Of course, me being a Knicks fan, I ended up being on one of OG's lives, and of course,
yeah,
you was on there, whatever, not knowing at that moment that we would be here, like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying. So, but
yeah,
then fast forward to, you know, what, about a month and a half ago or something like that, I ended up being on the live with, you know, Big Noob, you know, big shout out to Dre,
Yeah,
Ray
Dre,
Terry,
Ray Terry,
you
Big
know,
Bros OG. Yup.
yeah, and Newbie and all of that. And of course, it didn't register until then because, of course, Ray Teasy being from the Trefo, you
Yeah,
know, Big Noob being in that area, in the
yeah,
Triad area, you know, him and Newbie and
yeah.
everybody. And
I was a
that's how
young
we,
puppy. I was a young puppy. Like when I was
yeah,
like at that time, like Ray was like on the trajectory of like this is prime, you know, after Ray's prime, like when he was, you know what I'm saying, after when he was playing or whatever.
yeah,
And I was in the gym with him. I was a baby, bro. I didn't know nothing about Ray. I ain't know
right,
nothing. I ain't even know him with the college. Just know he a dude that can one of the best scorers I've seen from an old head. And he frying everybody in the gym. I'm like, yo, I want
yeah,
to learn to hoop like him. So I would, you know what I'm saying, pick his brain a little bit about learning how to pick his spots on the floor and things like that. He was like, yo, just keep working. And
yeah.
at that time, I was always hooping with older guys. And, you know, I went to East Forsyth my first 2 years. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I, you know, met Dre and played against, his schools. And by the way, I never lost to Dre. That's a little bragging right there. But I never lost to Dre.
And listen, I'm sure he's gonna see this episode, and I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
like
You know
me
it. I
me
ain't
and
nothing.
you might, yeah, we both might
Never,
get some we might
that's
get some
fine.
phone calls
Hey, he
like, hey,
know it's
listen,
all he know it's all love for me. He know it's all love for me. He
yeah,
know it's all love.
yeah,
I
for
listen, I
sure,
show love
nah,
to
for
him
sure,
every time
for
I
sure.
speak to him. But I ain't never lost to him. Not too many people that played in Winston-Salem can say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And as far as Ray Teasy, I mean, listen, B, let's not give Ray Teasy too much credit. Like, nah, that's my guy though, man.
Man,
Like Ray
listen,
Teasy is my brother,
cold,
but he
cold,
okay. He
cold.
okay.
He top five out of Winston. He top five out of Winston in my book. Cold.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's my guy. He is top
you ain't gonna
five
get
for
no, you
sure.
ain't gonna get,
Like,
you ain't gonna get no slander from me. Cold.
yeah, me and Ray, listen, me and Ray go back and forth all the time, bro. Like over the phone. We go back and forth
Yeah,
like we've known each other forever. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like we talk almost every day, me, him, newbie. We talk like almost every day. So like
yeah,
that's my like they're my brothers, like you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like it's all love, of course, with them. So of course I got to send Ray shots, like because I'm sure he's gonna see this too. Like you know what I'm saying. So TZ, you already know it's all love though, of course, but I still got to send some shots, my brother. You already
yeah.
know what it is. But listen, that's neither here nor there. I the trajectory
Mm-hmm.
of you getting to where you got to is, I mean, it's an amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
You would think, I mean, just from knowing the fact that your father, of course, being a legend at Wake Forest,
Mm-hmm.
being a legend in the ACC, not just
Mm-hmm.
at Wake Forest, but and even just still to this day, being a legend in the media. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? With him,
Yeah,
you know, on the field of 68, things like that. Most of the time, the children grow up to wanting to be like their father, you know, following his footsteps. But to hear that you didn't want to play basketball, like you was more of a football, like it's an amazing story to hear how you I can't talk today. Transitioned
mm-hmm.
into to actually playing ball, being at Wake Forest, which is, you know, listen, Wake Forest, even though, you know, it's Wake Forest, being a Carolina fan, like y'all are like an arch rival to us.
Yeah,
Like, to be honest with you, like of
yeah.
course we got our Dukes, we got the States,
Mm-hmm.
but when like this is Tobacco Road. When you
Yeah,
think about it, these four schools in North Carolina in the ACC is Tobacco Road. It's what built
yeah,
Tobacco Road in my eyes. Like,
yeah,
so I mean, it's an amazing story, man, because of the fact that, you know, your father pushed you, which is always a good thing when fathers can do that to their sons or to their daughters, regardless, you
yeah,
know, what sports they want to play, whatever the case may be. But you know, because a lot of kids or a lot of, I ain't gonna say kids, but a lot of the young men and women don't have that nowadays. Like,
Yep.
to somebody that really pushes them into to being the best that they can be, and just guiding them in the right direction. And I mean, listen, hats off to your pops, man, because your pops and your mom, that, like, they did an amazing job just with your upbringing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because like I said, a lot of these young men and women out here nowadays, they go in other routes that 9 times out of 10 it's not gonna be beneficial for them. Like, it's gonna take them down some other paths that I'm sure they probably never imagined going down. But for you to be able to do that, and especially coming out of the Trey Four, like, bro, I lived in Greensboro, so I used to be in the Trey Four all the time. I know, like,
Yeah.
Winston
Yeah.
is just like Compton, as from what I used to hear, or whatever. It's just like Compton, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I mean, just like I said, kudos to your pops and your parents, and I mean, kudos to you for actually sticking with that and deciding to really go that route. And look at where it's gotten you today. It's paid off. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's amazing story, bro. Like, for sure, for sure, for sure. So I gotta get with your pops, man, because I love to get with him and ask him some things and stuff as well too. But that's another story for another day or whatever, and everything. But listen, let me ask you this. So, what was we're gonna transition over to the ACC.
Mhm.
What was it like? Because a lot of players are not fortunate enough to play in Cameron, in the Dean
Yeah.
Smith Center.
Yeah.
Well, with State, they had Reynolds Coliseum, but now it's Lenovo Center.
Yeah.
You got back then, like, who else was in there that are prominent schools, like,
VTech, Maryland left.
VTech,
You
yeah,
got Virginia.
Maryland, but Maryland was another place. Virginia, for
Yeah,
sure, like,
Florida
in the
State,
old
Miami,
Coliseum. Yeah. So
Georgia
what
Tech.
was it like to play in the ACC and just being able to, I mean, play at Cameron, play at the Smith Center? Like, because, and the reason why I'm asking that is because lately I've noticed, and I've even heard stories about players that come to Cameron or come to the Smith Center. They're in awe just because of the fact they may have seen it on TV growing up as a kid. But the
Yeah.
fact that they're there on the court and looking up, seeing all of the banners and everything that's hanging in the rafters and things like that. Like, what was that like? What was that feeling like? Because, like I said, a lot of kids are not fortunate enough to get to experience that.
For me, it was you got to understand, like, especially guys around my age,
Mm-hmm.
like growing up, I use college football as an example,
Okay.
and I'm sure it's the same way. Like, remember, college football just came out last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's a college football, fan, was always on a video game, was waiting for that opportunity. Or we back. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We finally can play at Ohio State, play at Bama. Go back to when college basketball was out, right? Like, some of the top schools at the
Right.
time to use was a Duke, Carolina, you know what I mean? The Kentuckies, you know what I'm saying? The UConn, the Jimmy. I think Jimmy was on the game. Said, like, if you know, but I'm just saying the ACC was a popular like league, and a lot of people use teams in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, when you're in middle school, you're in high school, especially being in a local area, you watch it on TV, whether you're at home, whether you're out somewhere. Then you start getting recruited, and you start going to some of these games, it's like I can see myself playing here. Like I can imagine myself hitting a big shot, um, in clutch moments, silencing the crowd or doing things like that.
Yeah.
And you get that opportunity, and you sit back and you realize how many great players have stepped on this floor. Like even some of
Right.
my favorite players that's still currently in the league playing have you know went to Duke, stepped on Duke's campus, played at the Joel
Yeah.
where I'm at, played
Yeah.
at the Dean Dome, right? Like you hear like people my age, nobody seen Michael Jordan play. That's why I get a little frustrated around people my age when they talk about Mike sometimes, right? No disrespect, but I'm just saying we ain't seen Mike. But we
Right.
know what comes with Mike. And if you're
Right.
in warm-ups in the Dean Dome and they say, funny, I'm used still, they say, "Hi, I'm Theo Pinson. And I'm glad to be a Tar Heel." Fans go crazy. Mike, the
Yep.
last one.
Yep.
And when he say that, you just see the crowd go crazy every single
Single time.
time, bro. And it was like that since I went to the games in high school.
Yeah.
And you go to Duke, like you see the fans go crazy on TV. You on the game, you see the screen shaking, but not many people get the opportunity to play in Cameron, and it's a dogfight. Like I've had the
Yes.
luxury of having, I think I played every year in Cameron. I think I have. I remember my freshman and my junior year with two games that were dogfights, and I mean like at one point my junior year, like when they went on the run, like I couldn't hear Danny call a timeout. Like
Yeah.
that's how loud it gets sometimes. And it's Cameron is small. Like I played in high school gyms bigger than Cameron. People don't understand how small it is. But
Yeah.
on TV, it looks like the biggest, stadium in the world, but it's actually really small. But
Yeah.
it's just so much history, in that building. And not even just players that played at Duke, other players that have had great games at Duke.
Yeah.
Like my father is someone who never lost to Duke in his career.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
he's had, buzzer beaters at, Cameron Indoor. He's hit some big shots. You see every time you cut on, the TV with the UNC and Duke rivalry game, it's history happening with that. Even at the Dame, you see first thing you think of, people around my generation around that time is Austin Rivers shot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So then it's just like damn. Hopefully I hit that shot one day. And that's kind of what it is. So you just appreciate, the history that comes
Mhm.
with it, but it's also, a confidence booster too, because, you know, I've had, some of my best games at the Ding Dong.
Right.
So it's really just a lot of history.
Everybody always gets up when it's time for UNC and for Duke. Like it does, like especially in Cameron or at the Dean Dome. Like
Yeah.
every team always just comes with their A game.
Yeah.
But some teams come in there, especially like you take for instance, like it might be bad to use like Stanford, but like Cal, SMU, the new teams in the ACC, which is crazy. But like them coming to the Ding Dome, like Cal players don't get a chance to see the Ding Dome. Like,
Nah.
so like when Alabama came and played Carolina this season, like they took some pictures and you can see Alabama like standing in the middle of the court as the team with the huddle and stuff like that before the game started. But if you blow the picture up, you can see some of the management and the staff and some of the players, their heads is just like this. Like they're looking up.
It's so much. It's so like when you understand the history of the game and the origin of it, like bro, it comes from the ACC, bro. Like whether people want to admit it or not,
Yeah.
like
That's
like some of
that's
the
a
great like some of the greatest players of all time have played in these gyms. So you go to Ding Dome and it's like, damn, all these great players, bro.
yeah.
Then the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love Jordan. You got Jordans on your feet, and he went to Carolina. So you just like, damn,
Yeah.
wow. And it's a level of appreciation. That's really all it is. Like if you love the game and you have a level of appreciation for it, man, you'll sit back and just embrace, everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You know, because I always forget this, but a lot of people seem to think that Jordan played in the Ding Dong, but Jordan never played in the Ding Dong.
Didn't. He didn't.
He was at
He didn't.
Carmichael,
Mm-hmm.
and I tell everybody, like, go to Carmichael as well, because like Carmichael is amazing. The arena, like, it's amazing. Like, you walk in, you see it. Like, that's where Jordan played. Of course, that's where the women play now. But Carmichael is I mean, it's not as big, of course, as the Ding Dong, but it is it's a remarkable arena to witness and go and look at as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's yeah, man. Listen, I grew up, of course, in the ACC, like watching ACC schools. I remember when it was 9 teams. And now we got 18, which is ridiculous. I do not understand why SMU and Stanford and Cal even came to the ACC, which don't make sense. It's not the ACC when you got West Coast teams in the conference. I do not understand what that move was for. Now, if you ask me down the road, I do think Stanford and Cal, I think they go back to the Pac-12 or Pac-12. Yeah, but because they just started a new Pac-12 that's going to start next season with Gonzaga in it, you know, and all of that and stuff, and some other teams or whatever. Not real big teams, but it's got some other teams in there or whatever. But I do think Cal and Stanford go back to it because I think it was just a dumb move just to bring those teams. SMU, I mean, they borderline, but that's Texas. So again, move SMU out. You know, I don't know why people down the ACC every single year. I just do not understand it. And I think I've always said that I think it's media that pushes that narrative because of the fact that, oh, the SEC and football is making the money right now. So, of course, they want to push SEC basketball. The Big East is not what it used to be. You know, and I mean, we ain't even going to talk about the football side of things in the Big East. The Big Ten, okay, it is what it is. The Big 12 is something that they also push. But, you know, right now, everybody's on the SEC train. And to me, I'm like, do y'all not notice and see what the ACC does every year, though? Like, every year we've got 3 to 4 teams or whatever you want to call it in the Sweet 16, in the Elite 8, in the Final 4. Like, sometimes I don't think people really understand that. Like, on the women's side this year, they're going to get 9 teams in. So, like, yeah, you might not be seeing that on the men's side, but you're seeing it on the women's side. But of course, they're going to look at it as, oh, that's the women. That's not really pushing the market, you know, or the dollars or whatever the case may be, because we're trying to really just look at things with football. I think you should just keep the ACC like it is. If you want to take out a few teams, I say bring Maryland back. I would love for Maryland to come back. I think if you're going to take some teams out, listen, Boston College, bye. You got to go. I mean, I think Notre Dame, bye. Send Notre Dame to the Big Ten. I think Notre Dame belongs in the Big Ten because they're in Indiana. Yeah. They're right there. Indiana, Michigan State. I think Notre Dame belongs in the Big Ten. If you want to add some teams to the ACC, I mean, it's not going to do things for football, but I think if keep football and basketball separate. If you're going to do things on the basketball side, UConn, St. John's, Villanova wouldn't be a bad look in the ACC. Georgetown wouldn't be a bad look, even though they probably not the best right now in basketball, but that's still a good look for the ACC. I mean, because now guess what you do? You bring in UConn, you bring in Georgetown. Now you've got that Syracuse, UConn, Georgetown rival again. And Pitt used to be a rival with I think Georgetown or one of them or whatever for a while. Yeah. So I mean, you got that rivalry going on. So bring in some of them teams. That's what I think. But of course, they don't want to keep things separate. Like they want football and basketball to just both be together. Like we're moving because of this, and we're moving because football is what's doing the numbers and all of that and stuff. No, separate the two. Separate the
Mhm.
two. Because you separate them in a whole lot of other things. Like, so why can't you separate them now? Like, that's just my opinion. But I mean, what do you think about the state of the ACC right now, like where it is?
I think with the way with NIL and everything is now, I think it's going to. I'm not going to say erase history, but history, the heritage of all the schools in the ACC won't be the same because of NIL. And I say that because like it meant something to be in the ACC. Not saying that it doesn't now, but it was just different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was a certain level of passion. Like, to your point about the ACC being down from the media perspective, um, I remember when I was in school, my freshman year, I think 10 or 11 of us went to the tournament,
mm-hmm.
and it just goes to show you how strong like the ACC was.
Right,
And because of NIL, whoever got the most money is going to have the most success. That's just what it is. Now, I don't care what the top 100 recruiting class looks like, and that's just where we are in the state of basketball. I don't care what conference you're in. And
right,
now that we're in that space, I just think that because of, you know, grabbing some teams in the West Coast, grab some teams, in Texas, and bringing them on to the conference. Obviously, I mean, you and I both know what that's about.
yeah,
And hopefully, at some point we can get back to, the history of it. Like if you went to Duke, if you went to Carolina, or you're fans of it, right? Like
right,
that rivalry is always, going to be there. But like I said, when at the time when I was growing up, and you understand is like you would circle that date as a kid, yo, I'm locked in on this game right here. Now it's just like, all right, whatever, bro. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I say that, but because of I don't want to be too repetitive, but it's just the time we're in right now because of NIL. NIL has changed the landscape of everything,
yeah,
literally everything. So, do I think the ACC is in good standings? I do. Uh, I think there's some improvement that needs to be that can happen in certain
mm-hmm.
areas, but overall, I don't think I don't think we're in a too bad of a space. Like I said, it's just weird because, like I said, at the time when my father was in school, it wasn't no West Coast teams. When I was in school, it wasn't no West Coast teams, and
Right,
now you see what's going on. So it's just
mm-hmm.
like it's just different. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be too down on Stanford, Cal, and SMU, but it's just different. And I'm just talking about from a basketball perspective. Football is different. Obviously, in the SEC with football, you play less games, but if you're a school like Alabama, you're gonna have Ole Miss, who was nationally ranked at one point. You got LSU, right? Now you got Oklahoma. Now you got Texas, right? And that's not. Then you got Tennessee. Now you're not even including some of the other teams I didn't even mention who were nationally ranked. So the SEC as a whole is
Right,
already a juggernaut with some of those teams coming in, and then even
yeah,
now with Cal, Stanford, SMU joining the ACC, right? I think as they continue to build and grow, and as everybody on the East Coast is in the conference already continue to grow, I think we have the potential to change the narrative and get back to without being a question which conference is the best conference of all time. Because if you ask you and I and anybody else that play, we're going to say the ACC, and I still debate that to this day, regardless of who it is.
yeah, yeah,
Like I was arguing,
yeah,
I was arguing, I was arguing with one of my homies who went to Kentucky, Bam, over I think it was a year ago. So like some of the players that played in the SEC, and then some of my homeboy Cam Tatum who played at Tennessee. We argue about their best all time SEC team and my best ACC team of all time. and without a doubt, it's us, bro. Like,
Yeah, for a
it's not
fact.
close. It's not close.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you what's one of the biggest things that I hate. This year, there's 3 teams that's been in the ACC for not since day one when you had 9 teams, but when it jumped up to 12 or however many it was or something like that or whatever. But 3 teams that have been in the ACC will not play in the tournament this year. But the 3 new teams that came in, guess what? They're in the ACC tournament this year because whoever the bottom 3 teams are can't play in the tournament. So that would be NC State that I know, Miami, and I think it's Boston College. I think.
Yo, you for real?
I'm serious. Dead serious.
Where have I been? Like, that's what it is now?
Yeah. NC State, because they had the worst records, the 3 teams that are at the bottom, because they had the worst records throughout the season and in the ACC, do not get to participate in the ACC tournament. But the 3 new teams that just came in, oh yeah, they get to participate because they had a better record and all of that and stuff. I just don't think that that's fair, especially when people say that, when it comes to March, everyone has a chance. Like, let the 3 teams. My thing is create a system that those 3 bottom teams, they might have to work a little harder. So whoever's the 3rd that's at the top of those 3 gets a bye week or a bye day. And then the bottom 2 got to play each other. And then whoever wins that plays that one that was up there. And then you just kind of work it in that way. But don't just say that's the reason why Kevin Keats got fired. That's part of the reason. Because they're not making the ACC tournament. Like, it looks bad. I
wasn't a big fan of that at all.
Yeah. Like
he just made it to the Final Four last year. And that's kind of what saved him. And then now all of a sudden this year, that happens. But I think my pop said on the podcast, I think NC State has their coach. They're just waiting to announce it. I don't know if they announced it yet, but that's the only reason why you could, make a change like that if you already have your guy.
I ain't gonna lie. When I heard that, I said, yo, you right on, RC. You right on with that. Like, you're not gonna make that move if you don't already have something in place.
Like, there's no way you're gonna tell me I just made the Final Four last year, and I get it. And I get it. I understand. It wasn't a good year for NC State. That happens. Right? Like, that happens. You know what I mean?
But you know what the problem is, though? You know what that problem is? These schools, what these schools end up doing, and it's the donors, a lot of the donors and things like that. We're in this NIL stage. The donors stop giving money because of the fact if you don't give money, you can't get players, which turns around and eventually ends up to the coach being kicked out or fired. So the donors stop giving money, which means Kevin Keats didn't have no money to really go out and get players or whatever in the portal and things like that, which means you're going to have a bad season. So it's kind of like, we'll make this sacrifice for this season because of the fact that if we don't give no more money, we can push him out and we can really get the guy in that we want. I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's right at all. Like, don't be holding back on money because of the fact that you want a certain person because you just don't like him. It ain't the fact that he probably can't coach, because clearly he can coach something. Yeah. But don't just say, you know what? No, everybody hold back on your money. Let's let him go through this season. It's going to be a disaster. And right now we're not playing well. We're not even going to make the ACC tournament, but that's what we want. So we can push him out and really bring in the guy that we want. And now let's give him the money to go out and get players in the portal and stuff like that. I don't like that. I mean, you're giving the donors and them too much control. I'm not saying that they can't have some control, but you're giving them too much control by doing stuff like that. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And it's sad. Like, because I like Keats. I thought that Keats was a decent coach. But, I mean, you fighting a losing battle, bro. Yeah. Like, you fighting a losing battle right there. Like, they want you gone. they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure you're gone. Like it's just I mean, and NIL has just killed it. I wanted to ask you about NIL. Like, how do you feel about NIL? Because NIL wasn't really going when you was playing, was it?
It was not.
Yeah. So see, like
It was
a
not.
lot of there's
It
a
was
lot of
not.
players that I've
Trust me.
talked to that was like, yo,
I'll be the first to admit I'm jealous. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm jealous. It is what it is. I'm jealous.
yeah, I would be.
Because I know, especially being that weight with the pedigree of, I mean, my pops and that. Come on, man.
Could have made an easy meal. Easy.
Listen, man. Our real estate
I
game
don't
be
want
crazy
to.
right now.
I don't want to give you no flashbacks, bro.
My real estate game be crazy right now.
Bro, I'm sure it will. You probably wouldn't even be overseas. Honestly. But I mean, you might be. But I mean, if NIL
I'm not gonna lie, I'll be overseas. But I had me a nice crib back at the crib to go home, so I tell you that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's
Yeah.
a fact, bro. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, how you feel about the NIL? Because I'm
I love it.
I'm not against the players getting paid. I'm totally not against it. Like I think they should get paid, but I think it should be regulated.
I love it. I love it. I do. Like I'm glad players are getting paid. Do I think they should be getting paid the amount that they're getting? No, because I do think you're setting up, some of these guys, for failure in the future.
Yeah.
You know, like most people don't learn taxes until after college, especially when I was growing up.
Or they get hit or they get hit with tax evasion.
You know what I'm saying? So now, all of a sudden, you sign all this money. Uncle Sam knock at the door. You like, yo, where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
And then, to a certain degree, like some of that money is the most money that these guys ever get.
That is true.
You know what I mean? Like
true.
that money's not guaranteed as a professional. What if you don't make the league? What if you're not playing in top level competition overseas? What if you're not playing the CBA in China?
Right.
What are you going to do? Like, I think people still, misunderstand the importance of college.
The
right?
education.
Like the education. Like, I have a degree from Wake Forest, and now, right, people don't understand the relationships that you have to build when you're in school. Like, if you now you don't even have to sit out a transfer.
Right.
So you can go to 4 different schools in 4 years, or whatever the rules is now, but not have a home to go to.
That's a fact.
Like, people don't understand that. And that is one thing that if I had to give any advice to, some of the I want to say young guys, just make it seem like I'm old, but some of the younger players that are in college now, I want to tell them, like, look, I'm not telling you not to get your money, but I'll be the first to say, yo, go get some money,
go get the bag,
but build,
for sure.
for sure, but build these relationships. These relationships matter. The ball gonna stop bouncing. Guarantee when that ball stop bouncing, them same donors that's giving y'all this bag, it's gonna be there when you done hooping.
Yep. Like, I think it's insane. And I'm not saying that he doesn't maybe deserve it, but at the same time, I don't think he deserves it. But I think it's insane in regards to what AJ Dybantsa got. I think that is just
What do you get?
Insane. You really want me to tell you?
I mean, if it's
you ain't gonna like it.
What is it?
I mean, it is out there, but you ain't heard it. So I'm worried about your mental health, bro. When I tell you this number. So it is in talks or whatever. And you can ask your pops this too, because I mean, he probably, of course, knows a lot more than I do. But it was told that AJ Dybantsa got $7 million.
He got what?
What you want me to say, B? What you want me to say? Like, I didn't give it to him, but I mean, what? I shouldn't have told you. I see. I be trying to look out for my guys, man. I be trying to look out for my guys.
Like, I appreciate it, but like, this is I'm thinking if I'm a coach, right, and I'm coaching, these guys, and you were a player at one point, and sometimes you disagree with your coaches, and now with NIL, players have to say so, regardless of what X's and O's you draw on the board, what your standard is. Like, how do you react? And I know for a fact there's been a player out there that has told their coach, I make more money than you.
Oh, I'm sure.
How do you respond to that? How does the team respond to that?
You know where he's going, right?
The program and the foundation. I know exactly where he's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
It's just different. Dude, I want to know at one point our coach is going to get NIL deals.
They should, shouldn't they?
I hope so.
7 million.
7 million, dog. I'm happy for him. I'm jealous. You know what I'm saying? I'm jealous. Like I said, like, bro, I would love to have 7 million.
I think everybody's a little jealous.
Exactly.
But just keep in mind, it's only for 5 months. 6 months.
If that.
Like, I don't even think he's gonna play the full season.
Yo, that's over $1 million. That's over $1 million a month, bro.
Yes.
That's before taxes, obviously, but
yes. And I don't even think he's gonna play the whole season. Like, he's not going to class, dog. Let's be honest. He's not going to class. Number 1 overall pick. You going to BYU. You got 7 million. Like, he's not taking the rappers off the books. He ain't staying on campus. He gonna have his own crib somewhere, just kind of chilling, laid up somewhere or whatever. And he just gonna come in when it's game time and go home. He might not even come to practice. Maybe a few times. I get it.
He'll go to practice. He'll go to practice. Yeah. I give him practice. Class, nah.
Nah, he ain't going to no class, dog.
You give me 7 million? Wake Forest would have been lucky to see me.
Listen, remember I asked you already. I said, yo, if because of the fact of the prominence and how prolific the schools are when it comes to like the Carolinas, Dukes, Kansas, Kentucky, if they offered you a contract and Wake Forest offered you a contract, would your father let it say, yo, that's Kansas, that's Kentucky, that's Carolina, that's Duke. Like, you better take that. Yeah, I would love for you to go to Wake Forest, but everybody don't get offers from those schools. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say.
I mean, for me, seriously, knowing what I know, like, let's just say NIL was around and I got whatever, price would have been, right? Like,
right.
I still like I was joking around obviously about like not going to class, but like I still would have, like, knowing what I know now, and even then I still build relationships even with some of the donors and some of my professors that was there, the medical staff and everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think anything would have changed as far as just from that perspective.
But because you know what? And not to cut you off, but that's to be commended from a guy like yourself, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see that coming from Dybantsa. Like, his father is involved. They're arrogant. They're very arrogant. Like, you can see it in there.
I don't know his father. Like, I don't know AJ from a can of paint. I'm a fan of his game.
Right.
I've seen, like, obviously some of the videos that I've seen, like, on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, that he's very confident in his game, and as he should, just like any other number 1 player in the world would be. I don't know anything off the court, right? But on the court, it's a hell of a player. It's going to be a number 1 pick. I just, if I had any, advice for him, stay hungry, do your best to stay humble with 7 mil. And just treat everybody the same. The coach,
So
the managers, the janitors, treat everybody the same.
so the reason why I say that, right? And and I could be wrong, but I'm from looking at it from a blind eye, I guess you could say, right? Like the reason why I say that is because North Carolina and Alabama and BYU were like the final three. AJ had already committed to BYU November 10th, November 11th, something like that. He had already committed everything, right?
Yeah.
North Carolina played Alabama December 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
December 10th, December 11th.
Yep.
Why is your dad at the game courtside? Like the deal is already done with you and BYU. So
Mhm.
you want to take advantage of I can go to the Carolina Alabama game and sit courtside or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. You're taking advantage of others. Like Alabama thinking that they still have a shot with you. North Carolina thinking that they still have a shot with you. And here it is, you had already committed to BYU a month ago. You just didn't make your announcement until a month later. But you led the other teams on thinking that they still had a shot with you. That's where I say the arrogance comes from. Yeah. And maybe that's the part of recruitment that I just don't know about. But when I coming up from the era that I know, recruitment was never like that. I'm sorry, but you're taking advantage of people now. And then, I'm gonna make my announcement on First Take, which was a dope move. Like, I mean, First Take is a big show, whatever. I get that, but you had already had this stuff already locked in a month prior to your announcement. Your dad and everything is still at Carolina games. They all sitting up here thinking that they have a shot with you, Carolina, Alabama. They thinking that they got a shot with you, and here it is. They have no shot with you because you've already committed. So, like, that's where I say, like, arrogance comes from. And like I said, I could be wrong. But listen, $7 million, I'm not mad at it. Go get the bag. I think that's the most that any player has ever gotten in NIL money. Like, to be honest with you, I don't think nobody.
He gonna get much more the year after. So not even the
That's
year
a
after,
fact.
months later after that. So
that's a fact. So I mean, and let's just face it, BYU, it's in Utah. Alumni from BYU is Danny Ainge, who is the manager, who is the GM of the Utah Jazz. Like, connect the dots, if it makes sense. Like, connect the dots. So, but again, go get your bag. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I'm jealous, but I ain't mad at it. I just don't like the whole fact of.
Seriously, I'm happy.
Yeah,
for the kid, like players, we like, including myself, including my opponents, teammates, other players that have played at the Division I collegiate basketball level at Power 5, like we've contributed, a lot of money
right.
into, the programs, whether, people want to admit it or not. And to get paid for, our services, especially, within the 4 years that some of us was there, whether it's 3, 2, or 1 years. Everybody want a piece of the pie. And, luckily, they're in the works now of, paying, some of the guys that I've played before the NIL deals.
Right.
So I'm happy for these guys. Obviously, who wouldn't be jealous? Like, I can't, I'm sure my father is losing gray hair trying to figure out what he would have got if he was playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I said, man, I'm happy for the guys. I'm genuinely, honestly happy for him, man.
I am too.
I'm interested to see how the next level is going to be. Especially for college basketball.
The only thing that I wish the NCAA would do is regulate the NIL somehow and regulate the transfer portal. I love both of them, but I think they have to be regulated somehow. Got to figure it out. Like that's the only thing to me. And I mean, college basketball is now turning into pro basketball just about. But
really what it is.
I mean, everybody's sitting up here buying their players to try and buy a championship. You might as well just throw it out there like, yo, who wants a championship? Who's going to be the highest bidder?
It's the landscape of college basketball now, man. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
it's just what it is.
It is what it is. So let me ask you this: how you feel about UNC and Duke this season? Like your thoughts on both of them?
I kind of knew Carolina.
Yeah,
I kind of knew Carolina was gonna have a tough year.
Yeah,
I kind of knew that going into the season. But Duke, I knew Duke was gonna be pretty good. Because of the size, length, and athleticism that they have over there.
yeah.
I think Carolina's a bit, undersized to a certain degree. They're talented. They are.
Yeah.
RJ Cole. What's the other kid from New York, the freshman that's there?
Ian Jackson.
Yeah, Ian Jackson. Like he's good. I seen him play in high school. He's really good. They got a good team. I think if you can keep that core group together, over the next couple of years, hopefully some of those guys stay.
Right.
I think you got yourself, being back to where most Carolina fans would want to see Carolina. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Bringing somebody, in the transfer portal, get you a couple, big time recruits. I mean, Carolina, it's not like it's one of those programs where it's like it's Carolina, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, you guys can get players. It's not an issue at all.
That's a fact.
Right. As long as you guys got the donors, you got a Michael Jordan behind you guys. There's no doubt in my mind that you guys can't get any player you want.
Right.
So, I think after this season, you go back to the drawing board and do what you got to do. Get some good players in. Build around the core guys that you want, and go from there. I think Duke is just same thing. Duke is going to continue to be one of the top programs in the world, and it's just part of the blue bloods. Let's call it what it is. The blue bloods. You got, you guys, Duke, Kentucky.
Yep.
They're back now. You can throw UConn in there. You know what I'm saying? So
even though
Arizona,
they're losing 50% of their team.
Yeah, they are, but 2 back-to-back natties. You know what I'm saying? Like, to a certain degree, you got to give credit when credit is due.
That's fact.
Even like Kansas, it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas is back to being Kansas standard that they were to follow like next season. So
yeah,
like Carolina had a down year. It happens. It happens. Every program gonna have a down year at some point. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes to an end. So, I wouldn't give up on Hubert Davis at all. I would, me personally, I would not. He just took you guys to the national championship a couple years ago. So it's just no worries for me.
Yeah. And I've the talks and the debates and just so much that I've had with UNC fans, other podcasters. It's been a lot of hard work because I've been working for Hubert. He should put me on the payroll for sure because I believe Hubert is the best coach for the job. I mean, and I ain't gonna get into the depths of why and all of that and stuff, but I mean, he is the best guy for the job. And now with Jim Tanner, the GM hire, like he said, hey, now I can just do what I really love to do, and that's coach. Like
Yeah, I
everything else
mean,
is taken care of. Like
you're going to see more of that too. You are going to see more of that. You're going to see
more
more
GM.
more GMs and willing to control. All right, this player gets this, we get this player. Like the coach, I want these kind of guys. Make it happen so I can work it with my offense, my defense, yada yada yada. It just makes coaching easier. So like I said, I
Yeah.
think and what's good about one thing I've always been a fan of Carolina is the history of it. Meaning like it's always a home to go back to,
Yep.
regardless of who's coaching. And I say
Mm-hmm.
that because you got Hubert Davis, who's been in Carolina for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I look up on Instagram over the summers, Theo, uh, Kobe,
Justin Jackson,
Cole,
Kobe,
Justin Jackson, like
Cole.
a lot of
Yep.
guys go back. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the kids that are there now that look up to some of these guys who are in the NBA. It's coming back, hooping with them. Like that stuff matters.
Yep.
Same thing with Duke. Like you name all the pros that come back and spend time with those guys throughout the summer. That stuff matters.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, I wish, something that Wade can do. Just figure out a way we can get some of these guys back. Because people always talking about it's location. I think it's BS when people use that as an excuse. Just call it
Yeah.
what it is. There ain't really nothing in
Yeah.
Durham, bro. But Duke and Central. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? When you think
That's
about
true.
North Carolina, you don't think about Chapel Hill, North Carolina, outside of the University of North Carolina.
Right.
Right? I don't think anybody says I'm going to go to Chapel Hill to visit something. And that's no disrespect to Chapel
Right.
Hill at all. I'm not saying I dislike it. Right? But I'm just talking about like if you're talking about if I go to North Carolina, you think two places, right? Charlotte or Raleigh. Or even Greensboro,
Yep.
right? Because of Jiho. And that's one weekend out of the 365 days, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I'm just speaking from a perspective of just bringing that kind of tradition to eat like to wake. I think it'll help us out in the long run. Um, and then even now, like people not gonna give Wake credit. Wake been putting out some pros, recently, bro. I don't want to, say too much. You know what I'm saying? We had a lottery pick, I think two years ago. Um,
Yep.
and I think we had four first team All ACC guys within the last 4 years.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think like if we can get that, we can do something like that, you know, throughout the course of the years. I think it'll just make it easier for the guys there. And that's one thing, like I said, I respect about Carolina and Duke and even some of the other schools.
Yeah.
Um, so that's just how
Yeah.
I feel about, the ACC and those, schools in the triad.
Yeah. And I'm like you. You're gonna start seeing a lot more GMs. As a matter of fact, NC State has already stated that they're getting a GM. Like, so it's already starting to trickle down to a lot of other schools. There's only a very few that have GMs. I think Kansas has one, Duke has one, Carolina now has one. I think I think Kentucky has one. So all of the big dogs got GMs, but now I think that's something that you're gonna start seeing. It's just the fact that some of these smaller schools, they just not gonna be able to. They can't compete. They can't
Yeah.
compete with some of these schools. Like even these smaller schools won't be able to compete with NC State when it comes to like transfer portal or recruitment, because
Mhm.
NC State, of course, is a bigger school
Yeah.
than they are, like than a McNeese State or something like that. So, and that's no shade to McNeese State, but it's just
And
that's
they've been
just what
doing
it
really
is.
well. And they've been doing really
They
well.
have, and not to mention, Will Wade is one of the topics or whatever, or one of the candidates for the NC State head coaching job. So, I mean, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. So, I mean, So, I got one last question, real simple.
Talk to them.
who wins the national championship, and who's your national player of the year this year? 2 questions in one.
I hate to say it. But if I had to put all my money on it,
Please
first
don't
of
say
all,
who I think you're going to say.
if Wake Forest makes the tournament, you know I'm a root for. You know I'm still a Deacon at heart. I'm still a Demon Deacon, right? But for some strange reason, if they don't, which would be ridiculous,
Please don't say who I think you're going to say.
bro, I like Duke, bro.
Oh my God.
I like Duke, bro. Represent for the ACC. I'm gonna always keep it in the ACC, man. I'm gonna always keep it in the ACC.
I love I'm with you on that. I am with you on that because I always say that.
ACC, man. I'm
Yeah,
always keeping it in
I
the
always
ACC,
say
man.
Oh,
I'm always
man.
keeping it in the ACC.
But I mean, B, when you think about it, like, yeah, we want to keep it in the ACC, but at this point, they making it seem like, oh, it don't matter because they're trying to break it up. Like, I'm with you. Like, any time we could have 8 ACC schools in the tournament, I'm gonna pull for all 8 because I'm gonna always pull for the ACC. And if Carolina gets knocked out, I'm gonna still pull or whatever for whoever's in it or whatever. I mean, now, Duke, that's a different story.
I had you guys beating Kansas in the championship. You know, was it 3 years ago?
Yeah,
I had you guys beating Kansas,
and we should have won that. Honestly,
I thought y'all was gonna lose. I thought y'all was gonna lose to Duke.
Yeah,
After beating Coach K at his crib, like that was.
Yeah, you know how politics works. Politics will. Yeah.
Quick story.
Yeah.
That year, I had hurt my knee earlier in 2021. I want to say early, but like in May, had surgery, whatever. Bounced back. The following year, me and one of my closest friends, Harry Giles, who went to Duke. We go to the Duke game when Miami beats Duke at Duke, and Harry's there, JJ Redick's there, and a couple other alumni. And and the game is over. We go through the back, and we're like outside of the locker room.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting this is Coach K's last year.
Okay.
Yo, bro. I don't want to say exactly what I heard. Yo, but just know, like, they were not playing with that team about them losing to Miami. And I think they only had like 5 home games left. And when I tell you, like, from Coach K to the assistants, to everybody, it's like, y'all better lock in, bro. And then to lose the last home game
to your rival,
to Carolina, like, bro, I'm cool. Like, if y'all lose them in the Final Four, cool, bro. May the best man win. Not Coach K last one at the crib, bro. That's bragging rights.
That man home.
That's bragging rights that shoot. Like, come on, man.
The Final Four is bragging rights too now, B.
No. Hear me out. No, just hear me out. I'm thinking from a player perspective. I'm thinking from a player's perspective.
Okay.
Right? Like, when I go back home, like if I went to Duke and I was on that team and I go back home, everybody gonna remember you like, damn, y'all lost Coach K last game, bro.
Yeah.
At the crib.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair. Yeah.
Like, that stigma gonna live with you forever.
That's a fact.
Now, congratulations to those guys that's in the NBA that's doing their thing now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations. But just know, when you go back to Durham, North Carolina, you go back to Cameron Indoor, that's what they gonna remember you for, bro.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That is true.
And think about that Carolina team. They didn't win it. But guess what? Every time they go back, was it Franklin Street?
Yep.
Every time they go back there, bro, standing ovation. Because why?
The hero.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. The only thing that I did not want the Final Four matchup. Like, I've never wanted a UNC Duke matchup in the tournament, period. I don't care if it was Final Four, championship, round of 32, whatever you want to call it. Never wanted it because I'm like,
was that the first time that happened?
First time. So that's the reason why that's bragging rights as well. Like, Duke will never be able to argue that. Like, and like Jay Billis said, he didn't want it either because his thing was it's going to take away from the rivalry. Because now, like, one or the other team is going to always just be able to say, unless they meet each other again and they even it out, but one is always going to be able to say, like, bro, we beat you in the tournament. And to say that we beat you in the Final Four, not just the tournament, but the Final Four, on top of sending Coach K home packing in his last home game in the same year.
I haven't even put on a Duke jersey or a Duke color, no Carolina jersey or Carolina color. And it hurts me that you even saying that right now. So I can only imagine how those guys felt.
I love it. But you know what's funny? When you mentioned it to Duke fans, but let's talk about y'all this year. Why y'all not doing good this year? Like, they always want to say, like, yo, y'all not even gonna make the tournament this year. Like, we done swept y'all this year. But yeah, but y'all don't want to talk about like that Final Four when we beat you, which is, you lose to your rivalry, not just any team. You lose to your rivalry, the biggest rivalry in sports.
Yeah, man.
And you lose to us in the Final Four, and you lost to Coach K's last home game, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Like, come on. But they don't want to argue that. They do not want to argue that. All right, so my last question, because you only answered one of it, half of it. National Player of the Year.
Do I still got to keep it in the ACC?
Nah, you don't.
What's my guy from Auburn?
Janai Broom?
Yeah, Janai Broom or Cooper Flag.
I will tell you this, and this is just something that I know. It doesn't happen often. As a matter of fact, I think the last time it happened was 2016, maybe, with Jalen Brunson. But anytime a player wins the National Player of the Year, their team don't win the national championship. Zach Edey won it twice, 2 years in a row. And where did Purdue go? Anytime. Like, go back and look at the history. If I'm not mistaken.
That Villanova team was different, though, bro. People don't understand how
no, they were
different.
They were. But Jalen Brunson was the last player to win a National Player of the Year, and Villanova won the championship that year.
Yeah, because when Zion won it, they lost to Michigan State.
No player. Like, it just don't happen that way.
Yeah.
It just don't happen that way, bro. So, like, I mean, we talk about Zach Edey, somebody who's just dominant in college basketball the last 2 years. Like, nobody could stop a 7'4" guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That got National Player of the Year, and here it is. Your team was dominant all season, and y'all couldn't close it out in the end. Like, I just always got to go back to that example. Like, I mean, that's just what it is. So, I'm just to throw that out there, just throwing that out there or whatever. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So we'll see. I want Cooper to get National Player of the Year, because then that means Duke don't win the national championship. But I don't think Duke is going to win the national championship anyway.
That's just me.
They haven't been battle tested. Like, the ACC sucks this year. Like, it sucks. So, of course, Duke just been whooping up on everybody in the ACC. You haven't been battle tested to where you played. Like, if Duke was in the SEC, Duke will have a few more losses. Like, they're not battle tested. And when you get up and start playing some of those other dominant teams like Houston, Texas A&M right now is crazy. I don't think that you're going to beat Auburn the same way you beat them last time in Cameron. Like, if that game was in Auburn, I think Duke would lose. I think they would lose that game. But, I mean, Alabama is a tough match for Duke, to be honest with you.
I'm going to say this. Check some of them coaches' resume in the NCAA tournament, too.
I agree with that. I'm not mad at you because, I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of Bruce Pearl. I don't trust Bruce Pearl at all in March. At all.
I hear that a lot.
So, I mean, I don't trust Rick Barnes in March at all. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I see things just a little bit different. I just see things a little bit different. But I do think Alabama is a tough matchup for them. I think Houston is a tough matchup for Duke. I think Auburn is still a tough matchup for Duke. And the only reason Duke beat them, the only reason why they beat them was because Duke was home.
I'm going to tell you one thing I don't like that Duke does.
Talk to me.
And I haven't watched Duke much this season, but I just know in the past, Duke don't play on the road in the offseason as much as you say they do. And when I mean on the road, I'm talking, their fan travels. I'm just listen to me. Their fan base travels. They play in a lot of neutral sites.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really get on the road experience. Sometimes, now granted, ACC Big Ten challenges, like I get that. But on a day-to-day, like night-to-night game basis, a lot of those games be neutral site games.
That's a fact. I agree. Bro, go look at Duke's schedule.
That's the only thing. Other than that, tip my hat off to that program.
Go look at Duke's schedule. You tell me who's got the tougher schedule, even though they're two different teams. But go back and look at both teams' schedules, and you tell me which one's got the toughest between Duke and Carolina. There's no doubt. No doubt UNC got the toughest schedule this year.
You think so?
Absolutely, bro.
Did we play y'all twice this year or once?
Once. And you beat us by 1 point. I don't think y'all beat us again. Like especially after the way that we're playing now. Now, back then, and you only beat us by 1 in Wake Forest, in Winston, like, okay, hey, it is what it is. But the way that we're playing now, I don't think Wake Forest beats us. But if you look at Carolina's schedule, and I'm not talking about ACC, I'm talking about just their
y'all do have a tough schedule. Y'all have always had a tough schedule, though. Always.
But this year is probably the toughest that I've ever seen. Like, oh, I forgot about Florida. As a matter of fact, I think Florida wins the championship, honestly. But
I'm not gonna argue with you if you pick any SEC teams.
Right. So I mean, we look at who we played.
I just want to keep it in that ACC, bro. That's just me. I just want to keep it in the ACC.
No, I'm with you, but I just think that I just think Florida is really good. Now, granted, we almost beat them, but Florida is really good. And they about to get that little 7'9" guy back. Like, what are we talking about, dog? Like, I mean, he's a big body, too. 7'9". Like, dude touches the rim. Dude touches the rim flat-footed on the ground, just about, with his wingspan.
7'9" is ridiculous, bro.
That's crazy. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, but like I said, look at Carolina's schedule. I mean, I'm talking about it then versus some of these teams now. Like, Kansas is horrible now. Like, I mean, let's just be honest, but it's still Kansas. But Kansas, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Michigan State's playing very good. We had UCLA. I mean, we got a lot of tough games, bro. Lot of tough games. Duke twice, like Clemson, like Louisville. Like, look at these teams. Look at these teams. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So our schedule was brutal. Brutal. And 3 of the number 1 seeds in the tournament this year we've played. Florida, Duke, and Auburn. And Alabama might get it, but they're gonna get a 2 seed. So I mean, yeah, bro, it's a lot.
That shit's so crazy this year, man.
Yeah, it is, bro. It is. But listen, man, B, I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, always good. Listen, you welcome back anytime. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we chop it up behind the scenes or whatever the case may be. But anytime you want to jump on, bro, and do a show, like I as a matter of fact, I might try and set something up to where, you know, I get Dre on here, I get Ray Teasy on here, get Newbie on here.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I got bragging rights against both of them. Please. Please. And I can't wait. I ain't gonna be humble about it either. Please.
Okay. Say no more, my guy. Say no more. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna reach out to both of them today and find out when we got some availability, and we're gonna try and set something up here very soon or whatever, and go ahead and make that happen. Because only thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be here just to be here.
Hey, listen, I got a story for Dre. I have a story.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna have my popcorn and I'm just gonna enjoy the show. I'm gonna enjoy the show.
That's
like,
my dog, man.
Yeah,
that's my dog.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that, bro. Like, that's gonna be epic. That's gonna be epic right there. But we definitely gonna set that up. Don't you even worry about that, bro. Don't you even worry about that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I appreciate you, man. Like, anywhere where people can follow you.
I mean, I'm on Instagram, BC_0. It's spelled out. That's, you know, kind of where I'm at. You know, spending most of my time on, if I ain't, you know, watching film, talking to the fam, or playing a game, whatever, just scrolling on my phone, just chilling, keeping myself updated on what's going on. I'm currently overseas right now in Lithuania. Man, I'm just, you know, making the best of my situation right now. You know, keeping it. Well, right now we're fourth in our league, so we got a tough game coming up against a EuroLeague team. Just gotta keep going, put our best foot forward, finish the season strong, and go from there.
Absolutely. Like, listen, bro, you got my full support. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
like,
that, brother.
I mean, and I wish you nothing but success over there for sure. Like, you know, keep rocking it out, man, because I know y'all gonna get it done. I ain't even over there to be or able to even watch it like on TV or anything like that. But you know what? Y'all gonna get it done, bro. On the 3-game win streak too. When's the next game?
I appreciate that.
When's the next game?
Sunday, this upcoming Sunday.
Good team, bad team, middle.
That's a good team. Number one team in our league. We're fourth and play the number one team in our league. So
home, away,
in that place.
Ooh.
Yeah. So nice camera action. So
do they do any like video recording stuff over there? Like, I want to check it out, bro.
I see the link. Link.
Yeah, man. Send me that link, bro. I got to see that. What time is the game? Well, yeah. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out that time.
I'll let you know.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Because I want to see that, bro. I want to see that. So listen, but yeah, man, I appreciate you, everybody. That's Brandon Childress. Absolutely. B, I appreciate you, my guy, and I appreciate all you fans for joining in, tapping in with us or whatever, just to kind of hang out with us. And listen, just be on the lookout for the next show. And until then, peace.